To answer that question professionally, we need to analyze exactly how fame works. And a lot of the fame in the world today is gate-kept, right? So if you join a sports team, your gatekeeper is your manager or your team. If you talk out of line or say things you're not supposed to say, you're off the team. If you're in Hollywood, you have a manager. If you talk or say things you're not supposed to say, you can't be in movies anymore, you lose your manager. And then the other gatekeepers are the social media platforms. If you're on YouTube saying things you're not supposed to say, you know when they deleted you with Trump, when you interviewed Trump, they delete your channel or they delete you, so you're gate kept. I managed to get extremely famous without really having a gatekeeper. And for that reason, I was literally everywhere back then. And their goal to gatekeep me was to delete me from all of the social media platforms, which they did, but that didn't work because people continued to share my content. I say this often on nearly every single podcast. It's important people understand it, that your ability to speak freely is directly correlated to your insignificance. There's no such thing as free speech anywhere on the planet, including America. Nowhere, truthfully, can you speak freely. There are always subjects and things you cannot say, and if you touch on those subjects, it's fine unless people listen to you. You can touch on the subjects in your living room with your friend when no one's paying attention, but if you have a large audience, it becomes very, very different. So, yeah, it seems like I flew too close to the sun just before my arrest when I was in Dubai after we did our podcast. I said to Tristan, you know, we have to be very careful. This is the Icarus story. We're doing very well here, and we're everywhere, and everyone knows who we are, and we're making huge sums of money, and there's too many beautiful women by our pool, and our house is so big, and we have so many Bugattis, and everything seems too perfect. This is the Icarus story. Something's gonna go wrong. And then we all know the rest. It takes hot and cold air to create a tornado. It's not the fact that I have a lot of people who like hearing what I say. That alone is not enough to get the fanfare my brother and I get. It's that there's a contingent of the population which are just settled on the idea that we're the worst men in the world and that we're dangerous and that we're terrible. So you have these two polarizing teams, these two camps. It takes light and dark. It takes hot and cold. Like I said earlier about the reason my clips went so viral, some people would say he's 100% right. Some people would say he's 100% wrong. So I think I'm very good at saying things in a way which is as polarizing as possible, which puts me in this position. I got myself in trouble for what I did. So now I realize why. I mean, I always knew why. I kept saying before I went to jail that they're going to lock me up. After the cancellation, I knew they were going to try and put me in jail. That was very obvious to me. But I don't think I could sit here and try and sound like a genius, but I remember saying in our initial podcast, it was a 3-stage plan. And stage 1 was to keep talking in a way that garnered me lots of attention, and then to get canceled on purpose, and then to move people from platforms which were not matrix controlled. That was the whole plan. The plan was, I'm going to go on these podcasts, I'm going to say things that everybody knows to be true, I'm going to garner a whole bunch of attention. Eventually they're going to try and shut me down and silence me. I'm going to move everybody over to alternative platforms. And then the rest of it kind of all played out with fate, I guess, that we moved people over to Rumble, and obviously Elon bought X. I had no control of Elon buying X, but I'm very glad he did. I moved people over to Rumble, which is a fantastic platform where you can tell the truth. And then Trump won. Thank the Lord Trump won. So we're kind of here because if things were different only a few months ago at that election, I have a strong suspicion I would be in a jail right now. And so would Trump. So would you. Everybody would. They just lock up everyone at that point. So it worked out well in the end, yeah. So it's been a kind of a strange culture shock. It's nice to be home. It certainly feels nice to be home, but I feel like there's so much work to do and there's a lot of catching up to do. So it doesn't feel like I guess this is my personality as a whole, to be honest with you, no matter what situation I'm in, but I'm never looking at something going, cool, I get to relax now, or cool, I get to chill. It's always, okay, what work can be done here? So I'm glad to be back in America. I was a bit disappointed by my welcome, but I've come to the realization now that the people who dislike me not because I'm guilty of anything, they just don't like me. So they're always gonna hate me, which is fine. These charges are gonna haunt my name for the rest of human time, no matter how innocent I'm proven, which is fine. Well, I think that I have this strange reputation now. My enemies have given me the reputation of like a mob boss, a bad guy. Let's be honest, it's kind of cool to be like the rich, famous bad guy. Yeah. Well, if you're like a cartel, let's say you're a cartel boss, right? You're in Mexico and you're doing real shit and you're chopping people's legs off and you're the head of the cartel, whatever. I mean, obviously you have motion, you have movement, but you can't go any city in the world and be feared. You're just going to walk into one city in Saint-Tropez, whatever, no one's going to know who you are. You're just a dude. Or Tristan and I can go in any city on the planet and they're like, oh my God, it's them, oh my God. And everyone kind of gets a little bit shook. I don't know why. We don't do anything. We have dinner. Yeah. But it's interesting. Yeah, so I have to thank my enemies for that. I also have to thank my enemies for how pathetically they bitch and moan and cry about me. It truly is. My brother and I enjoy each morning with our coffee. Sometimes we see comments of people having mental breakdowns. The Tate brothers are the most dangerous misogynists. It's so fucking gay. If I had to be honest with you, I think my dopamine receptors are pretty fucked by now. I mean, I grew up completely poor, and then I had 87 professional fights, which of course is going to be a huge rush. That's why fighters get addicted to it, because once you retire from fighting, normal life is pretty bland and mundane. And then I had the whole webcam thing, and I had all these beautiful women work with me, and I was making money with that. And then that went bust, and I went broke again. Then I got filthy rich with Bugattis and private jets and hundreds of millions of dollars. Then I get thrown in a Romanian dungeon. Then I become the most famous man in the world. Then I'm stuck in Romania for 3 years in my house. Then I fly to Miami and land, and it's a hero, everyone's fanfare. Like, my dopamine receptors have been up, down, down, down. So when someone goes, "Have you heard this song?" I'm like, bro, who gives a fuck? Like, I've done too many bigger things. It's like a man who's been to war. And then he comes back and they're like, "Do you want to watch this movie?" He's like, "Not really. Like, I'm used to getting shot at. I don't give a shit about this movie. It doesn't matter anymore." I wouldn't say I'm unhappy in any way. And I would say I'm happy, yes, but the whole idea of happiness in and of itself is skewed in the Western world, especially in the masculine frame, because there's so many men who are waking up complaining about the fact they're not happy, which is the strangest mindset I think a man can have. Because as a man, how happy you are has absolutely nothing to do with how you live your life and how you perform and what you need to do. How happy you are is a pointless measurement, so why do you even measure it at all? I would argue that as long as you're not distraught, as long as someone you love didn't die that day, heaven forbid that happens often, let's say a couple of times a decade, besides those days, you should be happy enough to go to the gym and perform and make your money and do what you need to do. Who gives a shit if you're particularly smiley or not? I think it's quite binary. This whole idea of how happy am I is the easiest way for a man to destroy his life. If you're chasing happiness, you're only going to do hedonistic garbage and achieve absolutely nothing important. If you wake up and say, "I don't care how happy I am, I want to be proud of myself and I want to make other people proud of me, so I have to do all these things irregardless of how I feel," you're going to have a fantastic life. If you wake up and say, "I want to be happy," you're going to chase silly hoes, drugs, and alcohol. To get long-term happiness is something that's only going to come from dedication and hard work, which requires short-term suffering. It's just delayed. So if you're dedicating yourself and working hard for the future happiness, but especially considering the fact that most people are never happy with what they get and you always want more, your life just becomes hard work and dedication and struggle and suffering, and that's what you just exist within, and you don't operate under the paradigm of happy or sad. To me, it's quite binary. It's not a scale of how happy am I. It's just, has something terrible happened today? Am I distraught? No, then I'm happy. It's almost like there's no such thing as cold. It's just an absence of heat. In space, there's no cold. There's just heat or there's no heat. Well, if there's no despair, heaven forbid a family member dies. If there's no despair, then there's only happiness left. I was happy in jail. I'm happy here. I'm happy in Romania. I'm happy if they arrest me again. I'm happy all the time, because unless something truly devastating happens, it's the only frame I operate under. But to me, happiness isn't the giddish, smiling, "Look at me, I'm happy." That's for children and women. And as a man, truthfully, you get your contentment. I wouldn't even say happiness, but you achieve your contentment through making others happy. I feel content when my children are happy. I feel content when I make my woman happy. I get more from giving than receiving. That's why Christmas is set up the way it is and dad never gets anything. We give. We go to work, we struggle, we make money, we suffer so others can be happy because of us. It's not our job to be happy ourselves. You show me a man who wakes up and says he wants to be happy himself, I'll show you a bitch. Because that's not what you're supposed to do. As a man, you're supposed to wake up and say, "All right, my life might be shit. I'm going to suffer. I may be miserable, but every single person I love is going to be happy." Instead, so you live externally, you live through them, you give them the happiness. Truthfully, if I had to choose between being happy or being competent, if I had to choose between being me with my influence and my competency, but with all of my stress and headache, or being happy as a nobody sitting in the park doing mushrooms, staring at the clouds like a dumbass, I would choose to be me, clearly, because I did. So I think as a man, unless you're competent and capable, no, but let's actually analyze this. Unless you're competent and capable as a man, you're not even prepared. You can't even love anything unless you're competent and capable as a man. This is why, you know, when girls have those loser dudes who are like saying, "I love you so much, I love you," and the girl doesn't give a shit that the loser dude's telling her that he loves her. Why is that? Because the female is smart enough to understand on an intrinsic level that as a man, if you have no capability to give her things, if you have no competence, if you have no skills or use case, that your love is completely useless. It's like if you have a brother beside you who says he loves you with all his heart, but he's a complete pussy and he can't fight and you get attacked, what's his love worth? What's his love worth? So as a man, if you want to say, "I love my wife, I love my children, I love my friends, I love the world," you can only have a love that is valuable if you're competent and you're capable, and you're only going to have that if you suffer. So if you want to have the ability to love other people, if I want to be a person who can wake up and realize I truly love my children, I truly love my woman, then the only way I can do that is to suffer enough to be a man whose love has value. If I wake up and say I truly love the people I care about, but I want to be happy, so I'm going to go and sit in the field and take mushrooms and be a dumbass, well then my love is completely valueless, because when they call me and say there's a problem, Andrew, you love me, fix it, I'm going to say I can't. And men are nothing but success objects. We are valued by what we can do. We are competency objects. Females are sex objects. Men are, what can he do? What is he good at? That's all we're measured on, is our capability. I think happiness is the easiest way to destroy your own capability, because you're too busy doing dumb shit. So when you ask me that question, the reason I gave such a long answer is because how happy I am doesn't cross my fucking mind. I wake up and I have things to do. I have bills to pay. There's millions to make. I'm going to do this podcast. I'm going to go home, and then I need to train, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff to do. Then I have to fix everybody else's problems. Then I got to talk to my children. Everyone's life is great but mine. Mine's been long, stressful, and busy. And I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to do it again. There's no time for me to be happy in any of this equation ever. And if I choose happiness, if I decide to be happy, then I can't love the people I love properly, because then I become useless. There are full-grown men waking up talking about, oh, you know, I just feel a bit down. You're not a fucking girl, and you're not a kid. What do you mean you feel down? You're not in a trench in Ukraine. What do you mean you feel down? Name a period of human history where men were ever happy. Ever. You were either in a field plowing, in a field getting shot, marching at a cannon, sitting home hoping the barbarian hordes don't arrive on horseback to decapitate your fucking wife. When have men ever been happy, ever? It's easier than it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's easier than it's ever been. You haven't even got to go to war. All you have to do is wake up, not be a dipshit, find some money, buy a half-nice car, get a half-nice apartment. Then you can fuck endlessly. You're still not happy? I think it's about a bunch of selfish losers who are having the femme-centric psyop permanently ingrained inside of their minds of this endless chase for giddish, childish happiness. The happiness you felt when you were 5, newsflash, the happiness you felt when you were 5 years old is gone, and it's never coming back. Those Christmas mornings that you enjoyed are gone. You are a grown-up. You are a man. Now, a woman can feel that. You can put a woman on a jet and take her somewhere she's never been, and she can be in love with you, and she can feel it like a kid. Your children can feel it. You can give it to others, but you are never going to feel it yourself. And if you chase it, you're going to end up on drugs, doing dumb shit, losing everything you've ever cared about. So just forget about happiness. Forget about it. You're not supposed to have it. I will genuinely state, and I state this as a matter of fact, I feel no more happy or sad here in Miami than I did in jail. Perhaps I feel I have more I can get done here. I feel more achieved. I feel less frustrated. True, because I was very frustrated in jail because I was constrained and I had lots to get done. But in terms of actual happiness, the level is basically exactly the same. Nothing's different. Nothing's different. I wake up and I have things to do, and I'm going to do them to the best of my ability. Perhaps in jail I'm constrained, it's a little bit harder. I get half an hour on the jail phone, have to talk in code. Here I get a nice iPhone, I can text everything and get it all done. But my happiness is exactly the same. We're men, you have to take accountability for all these things. What do you mean rejected by a girl? I don't get rejected by girls, why? This is an interesting question. A guy will come up to me and go, girls reject me. I'll say, okay. Well, they don't reject me. He goes, oh, that's because you're big, strong, rich, and famous. Well, then you have the answer. Get big, strong, rich, and famous. Why are you a skinny little pussy? So what do you want me to do about it? Women are a fantastic litmus test. Women are the mirror to the world. That's what they are. The way women treat you tells you everything you need to know about you. Because we can complain about women all day long, but I'll sit here and say that women definitely shoot their shot, and women are definitely loyal, and women definitely obey, and they'll clean your room, and they'll make you coffee, and they'll share you, and they'll do anything you fucking say. That's what I'll say, and people will go, oh, only for you. Well, why is that? Because I'm highly achieved. So if you want to sit at home and be a loser and be a nobody and not try and not dedicate yourself and not suffer and not display value, and then you expect some fucking hot girl with all the choices in the world to choose you and give a shit about you crying that you're not happy, well then you're a dipshit and you deserve to be cheated on and left. As a man, every single thing that happens to you in your life you absolutely completely deserve, including that woman cheating, because she wouldn't cheat on everyone. There are some complete whores, fine, but then we go deeper down the rabbit hole. If you're dating a girl who's a complete hoe who will cheat on absolutely every single man she's ever with, why are you even with her? Or why do you care when she cheats? Take her for a spin and say, I don't give a fuck. You're falling in love with tramps, and then you're emailing me for advice. Well, you're a dummy. There's plenty of good girls out there that will never cheat. You just can't get them because you're a pussy, right? We can't psyop the entire female population, women with unlimited options, which is what they have via their Instagram profiles. Unlimited options to choose a shit option. I can't sit here and say, here's what you say, bro. Here's the magic word to make her blind and dumb. You're a fucking dipshit. So that's why you got cheated on. Perhaps if you looked in the mirror, you could identify exactly why she did it. You can look in the mirror and say, was this actually my fault? And on some level it is. It always is. The only way you can succeed in life as a man is if you take absolute responsibility for everything all of the time. You have to sit there and say, every single thing that happens in my life is my fault. Even if it feels like it's not. Even if she cheats on you, every man goes, she's a hoe, she cheated, her friends made her do it, she went out, she drunk, da-da-da. Well, why is she hanging out with those friends? Why didn't you stop it? Because you told her not to hang out with them, she didn't respect you enough. So why doesn't she respect you enough? Your fault. Your fault. Why are you falling in love with a girl who doesn't obey you? Because you have no other options. Whose fault's that? Yours. Simple. You're choosing bad apples because you ain't got any good ones. The amount of times I get asked about girls by dudes who don't deserve pussy is ridiculous. You're asking me about girls and you're worried about girl cheating. Bro, you're poor. You are broke and you are weak. What the fuck are you talking about girls for? You have bigger concerns to address. Like it really is amazing to me because I get this all the time. People come up to me randomly on the street. Oh, hey man, yeah, I love your content and my girl. You're a girl, you got skinny arms, pussy. What are you worried about your fucking girl for? It's unbelievable. If you get your shit right, it's amazing how quickly everything else falls into place. The best way to be good with girls is to be good with everything besides girls. If you're good at business and you're good with people and you're good, your body's in good shape and you're charismatic and you're smart and you're interesting and you're wise and you got a good network and a fucking yacht and a Bugatti and a jet, guess what? You can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them. Before you know it, you have so many in your house, you get accused of human fucking trafficking. That's what happens if you get your shit right. But of course, if you're gonna sit there and only focus on the girls with none of the other stuff, DMing them all day. What do I DM a girl to make her reply? You got 42 followers. This obsession with girls, bro, girls are a mirror. Girls will tell you everything you need to know about who you are, and you need to start listening to what you need to listen to the feedback. Listen to the feedback and improve yourself. You can't blame women for trying to get the best they can get. And the sexual marketplace is drastically changed now. It's completely globalized, it's completely online. There's no such thing as finding a hot, little, beautiful girl from a small town. She's got 2 million followers. So it's all online. It's endless competition with men all around the world. From the age of 18, they're being offered to fly out to Sydney, Dubai, Singapore, Tokyo. This is the game now. So you have two choices. You can either cry your eyes out about it or live in some delusion where you think I'm gonna give you advice that's gonna stop you from being a pussy, or you can compete. And if you wanna compete, then you need to be ultra self-accountable. When you compete in anything, how do you do it? Self-accountability. Doesn't matter what it is. You can be a basketball player, you can be a chess player. After the game, you analyze the game. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? You should be doing that in your life with everything. And when's the last time you looked yourself in the mirror and said, okay, it's just a man, am I the best version of myself? Could I do better? The answer is always yes, I could do better, of course I could. But I'm honest with myself about it. But how close am I to optimum, right? What about me would even be attractive to a girl? Or if a girl's acting a certain way or she ain't listening to you, why isn't she listening to me? Right? Mm-hmm. But most people don't want to self-reflect. They want to blame the women. Well, everybody always blames everybody else for everything, which is why they never succeed and win. I blame myself. I blame myself for everything. I blame myself for the Matrix attack that put me in jail, even though it was a setup. I blame myself. I blame myself for absolutely everything. I blame myself for getting wet in the rain because I didn't bring a fucking umbrella. I don't cry at the clouds like a dumbass. So you have women with all these choices on their plate, and you have the men who basically are so busy doing other fantastic things, they don't want the women who are getting them. That's what's so interesting. The men who are getting the women that everybody's chasing are the men like me who don't really even want them. I don't want to hang around with a bunch of fucking girls. It's boring. And I don't mean it disrespectfully. I wake up and I'd rather make money, do interesting, big, important things than sit around having fucking date night. I don't want to sit there and hold hands and watch a movie. It's gay. The point I'm making is, as a man, obviously you have romantic interests with a female. Obviously you want progeny and children. Obviously we all feel love. We want to protect and provide the women we care about, of course. I understand all of that. But if you're a man who's truly busy in your empire building, you don't want to sit around with girls all day. You don't want to hang out with girls as your best friend. Your girlfriend doesn't need to be your best friend. She's your girlfriend. It's a very different category. I wake up every day, I'm with my brother, I'm with my guys, we have an empire, we have work to do, we have very important things to achieve. We work all the time, we get all of it done. My girlfriend's around sometimes, but there's none of this, me and my girlfriend are best friends, let's hold hands, let's watch movies. We have the same interests. That is gay. That's what gay dudes do. There's a whole bunch of men in relationships with girls who are gay, yes. But straight men were too busy making enough money to have a third yacht, and then before you know it, all of the gay men who were chasing the real actual hot girls and getting ignored, those hot girls end up on our yachts. We're not chasing them. We're not hanging out with them as fucking friends. We don't care. You want to come? Yeah, okay. Yes, here's a dress. There's a lot of men who feel like, and in fact, let's analyze this another way. Let me make it clearer. How potent you are as a man directly correlates to how much time you have to dedicate towards nearly anything. Doesn't matter what it is, right? If you have strong alcohol, you need less of it to get drunk than if you have weak alcohol. So you have men who perhaps are not that important or that successful or that capable or that interesting or that battle-hardened or that rich, whatever it is. They're the normal man. The only thing they have to give a woman is time. That's all they have. They have nothing else to give. So they spend all of their time with a girl all of the time, which means they end up basically being her best friend and shared interests and all this crap, which is fine. But if you're truly a really interesting, capable man, you don't have to do that, because you're doing other interesting things that big king-making empire builders do. And yeah, you see girls sometimes, but they're not your best friend and they're not your primary interest either. They're the side effect of your monumental achievements. It's very different than sitting there with a girl all day, every day and saying, she's my best friend, I couldn't live without her. Yeah, we share the same hobbies. Oh my God, we like the same movies. Yeah, we do the same thing. That's very different than me and T saying, okay, all right, we have to fly to Istanbul to check on our yacht. Which girl's coming? Yeah, come. And put them on the jet at the back so they can talk girl shit. Me and Tristan could talk fucking yacht shit. It's different. It's just a different mentality. It's really not that different. Don't you remember when you were growing up, perhaps the 8 years makes a big difference. When I was growing up at Christmas dinner, the men sat with the men and the girls and the wives and the children sat on another table. That's how I grew up. All the women and all the children were on one table and all the men were on another table. Nowadays, it's gotten so fucked up. You got the men and the women, the husband and wife all together on the same table. The men are trying to have a conversation. Some dude's wife fucking pipes up. Some wife is just interrupting 8 full-grown men with her opinion that she fucking heard from Whoopi Goldberg. What the fuck? I didn't grow up that way. I grew up when men are talking. You don't interrupt, men are talking. It's the man's table, men are talking. That's how I grew up. And you had a woman, of course, and she had her jobs and you had your job, but you're busy doing things with the men. That's how you grew up. That's why I live with my brother and my team still to this day at 30 years old. We have a huge mansion and us guys live together. We wake up every day, we get some fucking money. That's it. But if you wake up every day with your girlfriend and want to make TikToks, and some dudes do, they wake up every day with their girlfriend and they make those TikToks.
That shit's gay.
Oh,
I'll agree on that.
Thank you.
That shit's gay.
Fake argument with a pillow and like, oh, like such. You're fucking homos. You're homosexuals.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how straight you think you are. You can have gay sex with a bitch because you clearly are.
I agree.
It's gay. So there's a level of obsession with a woman that makes you gay. Yes. Only gay men are overly obsessed with women on that level. And truthfully, I'll say something else controversial because I might as well get myself in trouble. I'm good at that. There's also a whole bunch of men who are obsessed over women they don't even have children with. A relationship isn't even serious without a kid. Like, the marriage doesn't mean anything. The piece of paper doesn't mean anything. Moving in together doesn't mean anything. Holding hands means nothing. TikTok means nothing. A ring means nothing. Bouquets mean nothing. Anniversaries mean nothing. Birthdays mean nothing. It's all bullshit. Until you have a fucking child with a woman, it's all just a waste of time anyway. I see dudes crying their eyes out over women who've left them. Oh, she left me. How long were we together? Oh, 2 years. And you ain't got a kid? No. So what the fuck were you doing? TikTok? 2 years with a woman, now she's left. It was a waste of time anyway. So a relationship's not even serious. If a woman doesn't even give me a child, why the fuck would I sit and listen to her crap? Why am I gonna sit there? Of all the people, I could talk to you, I could talk to PBD, I could talk to Trump, I could talk to all the most important, interesting people on the planet, but no. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna sit there and listen to her with her opinions. And she didn't even give me a kid. What the fuck's she gonna talk about? Sex in the City? I've just got important things to do. I don't have time to sit around, go golf. The point I'm making here is this. Let me surmise, because I've said a lot. Elon is putting rockets in space. Elon is one of the most important men on the planet. He's trying to fix all the government corruption. He doesn't have time to sit around and be a boyfriend. He's better than that. It would be a waste of Elon's monumental capabilities for him to sit around and play boyfriend and watch a shit movie with a chick. He knows it, and she should know it.
I see what you're saying.
They should have a kid. He should go back to work. That's what he should do, because he is a very important man. Now, if you're Joe Schmo with fuck all else to do, cool. Sit around, make TikToks with your woman. Fine. I have better things to do. There's still so many things about the corruption involved with the justice system and the legal systems, not just in Romania, but in America and the UK. There is so much I know that I still haven't said because I still have to report to these people. But the day comes, a day will come when light will be shed on the absolute insanity. And this is why I want a lot of people at home to understand as well. I know this is not a particularly political podcast, but this is important. Whenever anyone decides to vote Democrat for any reason, let's say you have a mental illness and you want to vote Democrat, understand this, that you're being left at the mercy of not only foreign governments, because Democrats never got anybody out of jail ever. You're being left at the mercy of foreign governments, but also the Democrats use foreign governments to lock up people they don't like. So they'll look at you, Kyle, and they'll go, we don't really have charges on them in America, and we can't really try and make something stick here because there's law and it's going to come out that it's a setup, whatever. But he's going to India. He's going to India. They'll send a fucking cable, a diplomatic cable to India, get you picked up in India on some bullshit. Some police officer will pretend you had weed in your pocket when you didn't. You're now sitting in Indian jail. The Dems did it to you because they did it to me. You're voting Democrat. You're giving your government the authority to destroy your life anytime you go on holiday ever, because they use foreign judicial systems, because then they can sit there and go, the Indians are crazy. We're going to try and get him out and leave you. You got to be very careful. That's what happened. We have to be extremely careful as Americans now that the Republicans, one, stay truly Republican, are not infiltrated by garbage, and two, they stay in power. Otherwise, it's over for basically everybody. It's extremely important that happens. But then let's tie this to other things, right? This is why I even teach the things I teach. The reason I tell men, I don't give a shit about you not being able to get pussy. You need to get out there and get strong and be motivated and get as rich as possible is because there's no point having an army full of weak soy boys. They're not going to win any war. This is a war. I consider this an ideological battle. That's why I talk motivation. Why do I wake up and waste my time? Effectively, I have enough money, I can retire right now. Why am I talking motivation all day, every day to the youth of the world constantly? Because I'm trying to motivate them to be a soldier worth having. It's like when you have an army barracks and you wake them up and you make them sing the songs as they run. I'm trying to motivate all of the youth in the world today so that they can resist the slave mind programming, because my life depends on it, as does yours, as does theirs. Why do I teach people how to make money online? Why am I trying to teach people to become as rich as possible? Because broke people aren't useful in the war. No one cares about the brokies. No one cares what the brokies say. You have to be rich to have influence. So I sit there and say, well, if I want to have influence, surely by extension, I want every single fan of mine to have influence, because then we're a more powerful army. So if you're a fan of mine, I will teach you how to make money. That's why I do it. That's why I have the school where I teach it. That's why I say join the real world for $49 a month and you'll be rich. What's amazing is there are people who will not invest $49 a month in themselves to become monumentally wealthy. Well, those are the people who are no good to anybody. If I sit here and you listen to what I say and you agree with what I say and you understand I'm successful and I tell you you can do the same things and it costs less than a fucking pizza and you don't try, well, guess what? You're not worth anything to anyone, including me. So I'm trying my very best to genuinely shift the culture. The reason I launched the schools because the educational system is one of the ways they're primarily infiltrating people's minds. That's where the woke mind virus is coming from. All these universities and educational systems. You tell somebody, don't go to school, it's full of garbage. They say, I have to go because I need to make money. No, you don't. You can make money from home for $49 a month and avoid the woke crap. There. You don't need to go uni. You don't need to go school. All of it. I fixed it. Done. Which is another reason they attacked me. Another reason they attacked me is because I own university.com. University.com is mine.
Wow.
The largest online university in the world is mine. It's not Harvard's, it's mine. So I'm taking a lot of money out of these woke psychos' pockets, which pissed them off again. Because there are men who join my school for $49 a month, start to make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, and say, well, I don't need to go to university. I make more than my professor now. That's another reason they attacked me. I became target number one. But these things are necessary. They're extremely necessary. So to all the men out there who are watching this podcast, at the end of this, I hope you take the motivational pieces and you apply them to your life. I also hope you genuinely join the school and become rich. I want all of my fans to be as strong and rich as possible. I want soldiers. I want special forces. Otherwise, we are going to lose. And I'm going to lose first because they chop off the king's head first. I'm the first guy they're going to get.
100%.
I'm the first guy. So this is interesting. I have a vested interest in making all of my fans as rich as possible. Name someone else who wakes up and goes, okay, I have a whole bunch of fans. I need to make them rich. I have a vested interest in making my fans strong and smart and rich and capable, all of them. If you're a fan of mine, I'm on your team trying to make you better permanently all of the time, or I don't survive. My life is the accountability measure. That's your leverage against me my entire life. So I'm gonna wake up and try and make you rich so that I can survive. And you're gonna sit there and go, I don't know if I wanna join. Well, then you're a dumbass. Then you're no good to me. It doesn't get any better than that because your university professor, their life's not on the line if you fail. They don't give a shit. No one gives a shit if you fail. The only person who gives a shit if you fail is me because I wanna win. I really want everybody at home who's voting Democrat or thinking liberally or is not trying to get rich or is not dedicated or is not motivated to wake the fuck up and realize we're in the battle for our very existence. And it's down to you to not only ensure the good guys win, but to become one of the good guys. And you can't be one of the good guys if you're a weakling or you're broke. I want the people to leave the podcast feeling energetic and feeling happy and feeling motivated with fire in their blood. My only reason I talk, the only reason I even say words anymore is to try and make the people who listen to me feel like there's some energy inside of them they can use. That's my objective, because I believe that's the best things I can possibly do with my time. I'm really not interested in much else besides having children and putting them all on my yacht. And if any of the mothers get fresh, well, you know, walk the plank. People are going to take and get away with whatever they can. This is how the world works, right? People are going to steal from you as much as you let them steal. People are going to abuse you as much as you let them abuse you. Mm-hmm. So there has to be a point where you stand up as a man and say, no, enough is enough. This is how things work. If you are a giver, and to all of us are givers to some degree, takers are going to take until they can't take anymore. That's how the world works. So if you're going to allow Trudeau to run your government and run your country into the ground and sit there and do fuck all about it, then that's what's going to happen. There has to be a bottom line where eventually people stop complying or stop obeying. If people are going to continue to allow it to happen, it's just going to continue forever.
Yeah, we got to get that guy out.
Well, but then you have to ask yourself the question. This is what's really interesting. You have to ask yourself the question about people get exactly what they deserve in this life, and the strong conquer the weak because the weak are just too meek to protect and save themselves. Like if Canada falls, along with Europe, which is going to fall, part of me is going to be heartbroken, but then part of me is going to be like, well, you had a chance and you just sat there and let it collapse. Like, what do you want to do? Your ship is sinking. There's a hole in your ship. It's getting bigger. Mm-hmm. Are you going to do anything about it? Oh, maybe the next election, or I made a tweet last week, so I'm just going to leave it. Oh, cool. You're fucked then. You're fucked. I really like to think that Americans wouldn't have accepted this election being rigged, which is why they didn't rig it. Because they knew. They're like, we can't get away with it again. The Americans are not going to have it. Americans are built different. Freedom. 1776.
I guess Americans have guns too, right?
Well, it's built different. It's not about even shooting people. It's about just showing up and showing the power structures that that you understand what's going on and you're not going to comply any longer. When I look at Trudeau in charge of Canada and I watch Canadians do fucking nothing, part of me is like, well, you deserve it then. When I watch the Brits and Keir Starmer locks them up for tweets and the Brits do nothing, well, then you deserve it. You get what you deserve in this life. If you're going to be in an abusive relationship, and you're going to sit there as the chick and your husband's going to beat the shit out of you and you're never going to leave, and you know all he's ever going to do is beat the shit out of you, and you're going to sit there, guess what? You're going to get the shit beaten out of you. That's how it's going to work. If you're going to sit there with an abusive government and let them abuse you and you're never going to do anything about it, guess what? They're going to abuse you. That's all it's going to be. So Canadians are getting exactly what they deserve, as are Europeans, which is a shit sandwich because they have no fucking balls. And they have no balls because they're scared if they tell the truth, they're going to end up in my position. They're scared of a little bit of jail. Boo-hoo. I'd rather go to jail for a few months and know that I tell the fucking truth and I'm a man who's not scared of some fucking sissy boy in a suit than sit at home and be worried about a little bit of a jail sentence and watch my country collapse around me and live like a fucking coward forever. Unchecked migration, energy prices are through the roof, manufacturing is completely collapsed, crime is out of control, drugs are out of control, and the only thing the police seem to have time for is locking you up for telling the truth on Twitter, policing your speech. They've taken away free speech because free speech is extremely important for young people and people who are telling the truth to mobilize. Billionaires can lie. A billionaire can stand up in front of you and say he's going to do one thing and actually secretly do another. A billionaire can deceive. The average man can't deceive. The average man has to tell the truth so we can find the other people who understand him because our strength is in numbers. You have to say Trudeau's a piece of shit robbing this country. You have to be able to say it freely online so you can find other people who say it so you can band together to resist. Because as an individual, you can do nothing. You can only operate in groups. So you can't lie. You can't tweet a lie and say Trudeau's a good president because then you'll never find your kin. You never find the people who you can mobilize with. Whereas a billionaire can lie. A billionaire can stand up and go, yeah, we're not going to raise taxes, then just simply raise them. So the average man needs free speech. It's extremely important. Without free speech, there's no democracy because there's no power of the people without free speech, which is why Europe and Canada, all these places got rid of it and just wreck everybody. They come at anybody who sticks their head up above the line, including me. That's why Europe came for me. This is another thing that makes me so angry. Just tying back into the things we were saying earlier to move away from politics quickly is that 700,000 young men have lost their lives in a pointless war, which everyone's going to forget once it's over, that nothing even changes. It literally, truthfully, a pointless war. And you're alive and you're watching this and you're not motivated to make anything of yourself. Isn't it kind of amazing, like how hubristic and how stupid humanity can be? Like, if I hear the number 700,000, I don't just think of it as a statistic. I think of 700,000 individual faces, 700,000 parents, 700,000 children, 700,000 girlfriends, 700,000 graves. I think of how many people that actually is. And I thank God I'm not in that group. And it makes me feel more motivated to live life than ever before. The second you say 700,000 people have died, I'm like, I need to make more money. I need to train harder. I need to be a better person. I need to go and spoil my children. I need to spoil my woman. I need to do more amazing things. I have to tell the truth. I need an even bigger platform. I feel motivated. I need to do good things. But there are people at home who will hear that number 700,000. It will go straight over their head. It won't motivate them. It won't invigorate them. They won't feel lucky. They won't feel grateful. They won't feel blessed. They won't feel anything. You know what they'll do? They'll sit down and go, oh, I don't feel happy. They'll still feel sorry for themselves like they're the main character of this fucking universe. They'll still feel sorry for themselves knowing that people their own age got dragged out of a car and thrown to the fucking front line and died in a ditch. And you're still feeling sorry for yourself. Why? Because a bitch left you. Wake up. It's incredible how lucky and how blessed and how fortunate every single person listening to this podcast is. It's actually incredible. All of us. None of you have any struggles that come close to a Ukrainian trench, including me. Even me with all my legal bullshit. You can put me in jail over a Ukrainian trench any day of the week. Any day of the week. No problem. But still, people don't seem to understand it and don't seem to get up off their ass and motivate themselves to want to do something and be better anymore. I don't know what's happened. The spiritual dampening that has been applied to the masculine essence is why they get away with enslaving us all in the first place. They've come along and made every man a soppy, weak, emotional pussy. They've taken away the masculine fighting spirit. Before you conquer a society, you remove its warriors. They didn't have to kill us. The Greeks and the Romans would walk into a town and kill all the military-age males to make sure there was no revolt. They didn't have to kill us. They took away our masculine essence. They took away our essence so much to the point where if I tweet out I have 2 girlfriends, a whole bunch of men, full-grown men, will sit there and go, oh my God, that's terrible. Gays, that's terrible. You can't have sex with girls. What the fuck? Making TikToks with their fucking girlfriend, like pussies, and crying their eyes out when she eventually cheats with me. And when I tell you, get up and go and get rich, here's how you can do it. They don't want to join the school. They don't want to make any money. They don't want to dedicate themselves. They don't want to try. I'd love to go gym. I just need motivation. Motivation isn't real. I don't feel motivated. I just have to do it, so I do it. Discipline is real. There's no such thing as motivation. You're never motivated at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. It's cold. You're either a pussy or you're not. And we talk about 700,000 dead men. And the sad thing is that most of these men are probably braver, more motivated, and more capable than the dipshits watching this fucking podcast, sitting around on their ass, chasing bitches on Instagram who are too good for them. And they're gonna sit there while all these fucking good men die, telling me they're sad and not motivated, and they don't know how to fucking achieve anything in their lives. Genuinely scumbag. If someone comes up to me and goes, oh, I'm not motivated, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I look at them and think, you're a fucking scumbag. What the fuck are you talking about depressed? You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. Of course she left you. I hate you. I just met you. I didn't fucking like you. There are people dying in a fucking ditch, bro.
It's true.
You're dying in a fucking ditch, and what do? You're sad about what? You ain't found the time to go to the gym. Why? You haven't worked on anything. You haven't dedicated yourself to anything. Why? Oh, I just don't feel like it. Well, you're a piece of shit. It's ungrateful to the universe. It's ungrateful to God himself to waste what he gives you. You want to talk about how you end up lucky. And I would argue that I'm a very lucky person. You know, on a long enough time frame, I can't think of a single time I've ever lost. I'm not a quitter. I'm a fucking fighter. I will squirm to the last second. You may try and strangle me. I am fighting to the last second. Think about this. I spent 3 years locked in my house in a questionable judicial system under a full media matrix attack and beat it. Who else can combat the mainstream media, the Romanian judicial system, from their house with no money, all assets seized? 2 weeks ago, I was locked in a room. Everyone said I was toast. 4 criminal cases, looking at 25 years in an Eastern European gulag. Bam, I'm in Miami. How do you do this? How does this happen? Yeah, it takes hard work. It also takes a degree of luck. Where does the luck come from? It comes from God. Who does God favor? What makes God like you? God likes you when you try. There's nothing that's gonna piss God off more than wasting what he fucking gives you. If you give someone a Ferrari and they look after it perfectly, you're happy. If you give someone a Ferrari and see it the next day, it's got cigarette butts, it's treated like shit, would you be happy you gave him a Ferrari? God gave you a consciousness, he gave you a body, he gave you a mind, and you're not even fucking using it. You're crying over that bitch who left you. You're not using it to be the best version of yourself. You're not using it to get as rich and powerful as possible. You're not using it to change the world. You're not using it to protect those you love. You're not using it for anything. And you expect God to make you lucky? God only has so much luck to give out. Wouldn't he give it to his soldiers who dedicate themselves and try? Wouldn't he think, you know what, that Tate motherfucker, he's been through something and he will not quit and he will not stop and he's never said he doesn't deserve it. He's never bitched. He's never moaned. He's never felt sorry for himself. He's never complained. He got up every day and worked. Let's give him some luck. What about this guy? Always crying, always has a problem, always feels sorry for himself, always needs motivation, never gets anything done, everything's everyone else's fault. Does he deserve any of the luck I have in my pocket? The answer is fucking no. You make your own luck by dedicating yourself to the universe. I said this before, I said it in a rain dancing term. Rain dancing. I said if you need it to rain and your life depends on it, you should do a rain dance. Now, do rain dances make clouds come? No. But perhaps, by some strange twist of fate, far in the distance, another tribe will see you rain dancing and realize you need water. And they'll think, he needs water, and we need something he has. And they'll bring you water. If you didn't rain dance and just sat there waiting for it to rain, the water would have never come. There's no such thing as working too hard. You'd be amazed how if you just do work, how amazing things happen. I said this to Tristan when we were in jail. I said, there is a certain number of push-ups I will complete before I get out of this cell. I don't know how many it is, but the more push-ups I do and the quicker I do them, the quicker I'll get out of here. The logic being that it doesn't matter. Let's make it simple math. I will do push-ups every day and eventually I'll be released. And that will be the total number of push-ups I had done that got me released from jail. That's what I believed. So I sat there and thought, okay, there's a certain finite number of push-ups that I will complete while I am in jail. So the faster I do push-ups, the more push-ups I do, the sooner I'll be out. That may be a logic fail to most people. Most people will sit there and they won't quite understand it. My mentality was, if I just do as many push-ups as possible, I'll get out of here quicker. Even if I didn't get out any quicker, I used my time more effectively. I came out like a fucking monster, like a beast. I had no gym equipment, nothing. I just had thousands of push-ups a day, every single day. And I kept my mind strong. So I came out without mental damage so I could deal with the mainstream media storm. I truthfully understand why the banking cartels and why the hidden interests and shadow groups have no respect for human life. Because I will tell you, as a man who was poor, and I mean filthy poor, complete broke, 15 years ago. Now, me as a successful man, when I see the average man not trying, I feel fucking distaste. And I remember being broke. I was broke not too long ago. Imagine you're born into a banking dynasty and all you've ever known is wealth and power. And your father, all he's ever known is wealth and power. And then you see the average man sitting around talking about being depressed and sad. You think you give a fuck about these people? You think they give a shit about locking you in your house during COVID, or sending you to die in a fucking ditch, or inflating your currency, or lying to you, or stealing your money via USAID? You're nothing but fucking sheep to these people, and I don't blame them, because most of you act like such fucking dipshits. You deserve exactly what you're getting. You deserve exactly what you're getting, Canada. You deserve Trudeau, who's a fucking moron, and you're letting him stay there. And now Trudeau is gonna go to a fucking prosecutor and tell him to raise charges on me for telling you the truth. But I don't give a fuck, because I'd rather live this way than live like you people, in a fucking cloud of cowardice. I can't live that way. I feel dirty if I'm a coward. So I'm gonna say exactly what I fucking think all of the time. And I'm gonna do that to the day I die. Then it'll be 700,001 men dead. But at least my name will be remembered. Because this is the most important thing. We're all gonna fucking die. And you can die one way or another. You either die as a number or you die as a name. 700,000 men died. And I guarantee you, if you ask the Ukrainians or the Russians who they are, they can name maybe 30 of them. The commanders, the special forces, the decorated soldiers. The rest of them, nobody's. You can die as a name that's remembered. George Washington's a name. Napoleon's a name. Or you can die as a number, a fucking statistic, but you're gonna die anyway. So what are you so scared of? 700,000 men have died in that war. absolutely disgusting. Not only that it happened, but that the average American man will sit around on his ass and achieve nothing, knowing that they could have just been born in another place. The second that war started, Ukraine closed its borders to men. They weren't allowed to leave. You could have been born in another place, and instead of sitting around crying over a bitch and jerking off the fucking Pornhub, you'd be getting your leg blown off in a fucking ditch. And you're not even thankful to God for that enough to try.